beaming from Pacific Junction Hotel to Earth. Girth.
Yeah.
I just knew he was freaking out.
He was going inward. Okay. So Sammy recorded that whole conversation.
He did, eh?
Yeah. That's why he's being quiet.
I learned, you'd appreciate this as two filmmakers. So I learned Clint Eastwood, when he was doing a lot of those cowboy movies back in the day, they couldn't call like action and the clapper and all that stuff because it was too much noise and would startle the horses. And so what the directors did back in the day was they had a little signal, and then they would then quietly begin recording the scenes and stuff like that. So Clint Eastwood still does that.
He still does that?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like to hang out with him on set. Yeah. You always have to be on guard. Like, come on, man. Everybody just chill out for a minute and wait for the clapper. Like, so everybody has to wait for Clint Eastwood's cue? Is that?
There is no cue, though. So, because even he'll shoot sometimes rehearsals as well, and he's like, let's just pretend we're blocking, or let's, like, he lies a lot.
And he records clandestinely,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to kind of catch some sort of realism, I guess.
Yeah.
And given his age, I'm assuming he's the type that would like to shoot on film, so he must be burning through that film money.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's not his money, though.
Yeah, and it is Clint Eastwood. I think he could afford it.
Yeah. Did you guys, how was the process for you guys? You guys prefer shooting on, like, digital, or you prefer film, or you don't have a choice anymore?
Oh,
I'm stepping up. I'm going to show my age. I shot on film, and it is bloody expensive, and I don't think it's necessary at this stage. You know, I know there's some filmmakers, I think like Christopher Nolan, he prefers shooting on film.
Yeah, he likes 35 mil.
Yeah, and you know, that 35 mil takes 35 mil.
So does Tarantino.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think he shot on a 50 for this. I don't know.
Oh, no, 70.
70?
Yeah.
Like, people are going nuts. But regardless, it's expensive.
For Hateful Eight.
Yeah, but that's
70.
So I guess if we had the choice, would we? If we had financial backing, what would you choose?
No, hell no. No, you
Why not?
want the security of knowing that you could keep rolling and you would store all that footage. That what Sammy did earlier back in the old days would cost a lot. And he would have to consciously think about the cost. There's all these, your brain is directed towards other things as opposed to just the film. And I feel like with digital, you could be focused on the film 24/7 because you could just let it keep rolling.
But do you feel like there's a difference in warmth or in the actual texture?
No, and I could say as an audience member, I cannot tell the difference between film and digital. And if I do notice a difference, it's not. It won't be me going out of my way saying I gotta watch this film because it's on film.
I would have to agree. I think, you know, for me at least, you know, at this stage of my career, you know, the digital realm is so freeing. You know, just because the financial constraints are not there or not as bad as, and it's just, you know, I think it gives us more freedom to experiment actually without the cost.
Yeah,
There's no penalty.
Exactly.
and the quality of we shot it at 6K, which is more than adequate. You know, cinemas these days at most are equipped with 2K. The TIFF light box is equipped with 4K. There is no television out there that could play the footage that we just recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we could access that and we could keep it rolling, and that the quality difference between that and 35 mil to me has no difference, is a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Phil, you also made a good point, too, where you said the audience can't tell the difference. I remember when DVDs first started coming out, they would have, especially places like Walmart, which is kind of speaks to the audience, but they would say like for the letterbox, like the black boxes should be there. They had stickers and telling them that they were there wasn't a mistake, or they couldn't remove them or anything like that. So I think there is a certain level of, I guess, ignorance, for lack of a better word, with the audience in terms, like, they just want to see a good movie. They don't care about the 70 millimeter or anything like that.
And yeah, and you just look at YouTube, the image, like some of the footage on there of stuff that people record, it's just garbage actually, but it still gets the numbers, right? People are not interested as much in the visual quality as much as the sort of machine is trying to
The
make them think
economy
that
of China has spoken by during DVDs came out. The mafia, the underground economy decided to make these things called VCDs, which are these terrible, very pixelated movies, but you could buy them on the street for $1.99, $2, and they would take off faster in China than DVDs because people just don't care about video quality.
And then the other one was, too, the guy who would go in with a camcorder. the old school, and would sit there and record.
And
a
you see
movie.
the shadow of a person get up and walk
Yeah.
to the right.
Yeah.
So good.
Or when he gets a little tired an hour in, and then it starts getting a little shaky.
Yeah, yeah. I could still tolerate it sometimes. Actually, I wouldn't mind it. There's if you get the DVD, if you buy the DVD of Euro Trip, there's an extra feature in there in which you could watch the entire movie back, but through a person's camcorder.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's a nice little treat.
That's really hilarious. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to sabotage that.
No, but we are happy that we shot it in 6K. Because I think for this, the film for us is a bit of a portfolio piece, something that it's an idea that we really care about, but also we kind of want to use it to sort of pitch so that we can get an opportunity to pitch our other ideas and that sort of stuff.
I mean, the foot in the door.
Get the foot in the door, and
Or
we wanted it to be
crowbar the door open.
Yeah, and we wanted it to be the best quality possible.
Yeah, I think one part of our conversation before making this film was let's push this as high as possible so that it has the longest shelf life. And also it's good for us to see how far we could push our quality of work. So-
Did you succeed?
Oh, hell yeah. I
Listen,
think so.
kudos to Tony Edgar, who was our cinematographer. We, when we first brought him on board, we were really confident that he could give us anything that he said he would give us. Like we actually, I'm sort of saying this story backwards.
Sure.
We set up office in the cafeteria of the AGO.
That's a nice office.
That's a nice office space. We were there for a good couple of months, and we'd interview crew members there, and Tony was one of them.
Uh-huh. And he was a very confident man. He would lean back in his chair and then he says, "Well, I'm here. Ask me anything." I
okay.
thought we were the one offering him the
Yeah.
game. And then we brought up a few styles that we liked, and we hope, given the restricted budget that we have, that we could emulate. And Jerome and I really liked darker looking, very dramatic lit films. So things like The Social Network and David Fincher movies that we really liked, and certain sci-fi movie or shows that we really liked. And so when we told him David Fincher, he just goes, whatever you want, no problem. And that was it.
It didn't break a sweat.
Yo, that's fresh though.
And you know what's funny? When we were coloring the film at the end, because we got to actually see it in a color studio with a proper monitor, we were like, damn, this looks like Social Network. Like, he really did a good job at capturing the essence of what we wanted.
Yeah. I guess with DPs, it's really tricky, and this is the first time I'm, I guess, working with somebody I haven't worked with before. Is it's a crapshoot. You really don't know what you're getting until the day of the shoot, and you don't know how the chemistry is, and because they're also relatively a lot more expensive than everybody else on the crew, you don't really have them for a lot of days before the shoot. You know, they're off in another country shooting something else. They're off doing another project. So we put all our faith in this into him and his incredible muscles, and it seemed to pay off.
I'm speaking with. Actually, why don't you just introduce yourselves?
I'm Jerome Skeete, friend of Sammy Younan. I've known Sammy for a very long time.
Oh, yo, we're getting into the dirt already.
Yeah, we're from Scarborough, so we got a lot of tales to tell.
Yo,
Perhaps
it's been,
another day.
What has it been? 10 years? 15 years? 20 years?
I think it was like 20 years since high school.
Oh man.
Let's move on from this topic now.
No. Let's keep it. So did you share any girlfriends? Has there been any like romantic rivalries between the both of you?
The only romantic rivalries have been with comics. I would say it's probably comic books.
Yes.
That's the only thing that
Batman always
stands
gets in the
between
way.
us. Yes.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Foiled again. And next to you, Jerome, is...
I'm Philip Leung, the co-director and co-writer of Hum and enemies of Jerome and Sammy Younan.
Okay.
That's right,
the lines
that's
have been
right.
drawn.
You know why? Because I'm from North York.
Oh.
I'm representing that part of the town.
All right. This is going to be a nice little battle royale.
I guess I should say that I am the co-director and co-writer of Hum. I didn't say that as well. But yeah, Phil and I worked on this together, and we worked on a previous film called The Lonely Monster.
And that one was at the Toronto Urban Film Festival.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. It won for Best Local Film last year, which kind of gave us the incentive to keep working together this year.
It's all
You survived the creative process.
yeah, but we need incentives.
Although,
like-
to be honest, can I ask you this, Jerome? If there was no incentive, if there was no prize for this film, if there was no catalyst saying, you will be rewarded some money to make the next film, would we keep working together?
That's a very good question. I've thought that myself too, actually. And I think the mystery will remain forever.
That's a no.
We'll never
That's
know.
an obvious no.
No, because I should be asking you that question.
I think it would be a yes, but I think it would have taken a little longer.
Yeah.
I think it would have been until like a year, maybe a little longer of like missing hanging out with you.
Put the Pina Colada song on
about
your
you.
phone.
Yeah, and then the blood gets boiling again.
Yeah.
But I think the prize that was given to us at the Toronto Urban Film Festival, which was a nice sponsorship from William F. White and from the Drake Hotel, was certainly excelled the process of this film.
Yeah, and just for a little bit of backstory, after we did The Lonely Monster, Phil and I wrote a script. It was about 40 pages or so, right? Called Burnout, and that's the project we were thinking about starting, and that basically sort of fizzled out, and then we were sort of like, oh well, I guess we won't be talking to each other for a bit. And then we won this prize, and we're like, oh well, fate has brought us together again, so let's do a film together.
And I have to say, I mean, it's funny because we enjoy working together, and it's so pleasant. I think that's the big reason, and it's very little to do with actually the reward or the money. I like waking up really early in the morning and checking in myself to the AGO for 8 hours a day facing Jerome, which is a little strange, but it worked.
So you guys are like the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon of Toronto.
We
but
are
like one from Scarborough, one from North York. It's almost like a sitcom. Can these opposites attract and can they work together?
We are the Harold and Kumar of...
Oh, there you go. That's a better one, yeah. How did you guys initially started working together, and like what was the decision behind that?
I could say from my perspective, which is I was a researcher on George Strombolopoulos Tonight, and sometimes I contributed. I was a really hungry a researcher on the show who also wanted to help out with the writing. And I think, and oftentimes I would do writing on my own and try to put something together after work. And Jerome would sometimes see me writing at the food court, and then I would call him over, and he would walk over, and then I'd throw these wild ideas at him, and he wouldn't go, okay, nice, I gotta go home, bye, and leave. He would hang around an empty food court and challenge these stories.
That's from Scarborough.
That's
many an hour spent in the food court.
Yeah, yeah, and the more I talked to Jerome, and he also introduced me to a few books on storytelling, that I got to keep talking to this guy. He's so much fun to talk to, and he's not running away from the ideas that I'm throwing at him. So I think over time, I was able to secretly convince him to make a film with me.
From my perspective, I was on Strombo too.
I wore him down. Sorry, that's the bottom line.
I was the headline producer, and there was some very long hours on that show, and a lot of time spent in the food court scrounging for food. But
it was like an apocalypse or something like that.
It was pretty close. The show was great, and everyone was great on it. It was just very long hours. A daily show is just a really hard grind. But the thing that I noticed about Phil was the ideas that he had,
They're
like
synonymous.
the story ideas. Some of the ideas that he threw out were very Twilight Zone-ish, and I dig that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, this sounds like, I'm interested in talking with him, and he has a great ideas and stuff like this. But it wasn't until I think we sort of jammed about The Lonely Monster that I was like, hey, you know what? Let's give this a shot, and let's see where this goes.
The stakes were so low too. It was a 1 minute film, but we decided to pour 2 days of shooting into a 1 minute film.
And $2,000, yeah, pretty much. But I think it was we just sort of clicked, and we kind of enjoyed the ideas that we were coming up with, and it seemed worth it. It seemed like something that was worth our while.
I'm a big fan of process, and if the process is fun, then I think it's worthwhile.
And I think that's a really important point, because as far as the hum is concerned, one of the most memorable things I have is meeting every week at the Java hut on Queen Street with Phil, jamming out ideas and eating an avocado sandwich and having chickpea soup. that's
sounds
what it's all
tasty.
about. Yeah, and it's really about the experiences, because otherwise filmmaking is it can be a very hard and strenuous experience, but it's these are the things, for me at least, that make it enjoyable, is just getting to know somebody and just talking about ideas.
Yeah.
So for you guys, it's more the creative. You're happy with the creative process rather than necessarily the output.
Obviously the output is the
final product.
the king, the one that brings home the bacon. I mean, that to us is obviously. And there is like an adage, and I don't know if this is true. I mean, I heard in a podcast that if it's a happy set, then it's a bad film. You know, like if the writer hears about production and they hear that the production went smoothly, then the writer's gonna be like, damn, they ruined my film. Now I don't know if this is true or not, but it kind of worries me too, because I kind of want to have it all. Why can't we have a very happy set and a good film? You know? But ultimately I think the content is king, and it doesn't matter what we say or do. It's the film that will end up paying the bills or getting us to that next bracket of making longer films.
And so you start off with The Lonely Monster, and that's a minute. And that was collaborative and fun, and you didn't kill each other, and you enjoyed working in the food court. And now you graduate, and you decide you're going to do Hum. How did Hum start to kind of come about?
It was at a Denny's in November, and we were both wearing long johns by then. Just
Another bonding point.
Yes.
I guess we talked about themes. And also, we decided not to write anything down for the first 3 months. So we just wanted to keep talking and talking until these ideas are just like burned in our heads. Like the same way Jay-Z would rap. Jay-Z is always like, if my rhymes are good enough, I don't have to write them down. So this is kind of our philosophy.
Is that a direct Jay-Z quote?
I mean, yeah, it's verbatim. That was actually Jay-Z in the studio.
Yeah.
But the more we kept talking, the more ideas that stuck in our head. Every time we meet up, we would talk about these same themes. And the two themes, I guess, that were prominent were hipsters, that we thought, especially in Toronto, there's a generation of, I think, people that are overly privileged and music, and I think, and so we tried to combine those two together and trying to figure out a story of how to combine music and this generation of spoiled hipsters, which is not true because everybody here works hard, but it's just a caricature that we decided to make.
Just to add to that, the character that we started making, a lot of this was Phil really pushed this, which was really great. Is the concept of making a character that is unsympathetic. I found that to be very intriguing. Because why should a character always be like, oh, I like this guy, blah, 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 blah. Like, how many people do we meet out there that we really like, apart from our friends? And the idea of making an unsympathetic character seemed a lot more real to me. And I thought that was a really interesting challenge to write a script about a character that's not likable.
That goes back again to the creative process, right? And trying to figure out and having these little challenges.
I do think, when the audience hangs around, part of that creative process is talking about how do we make this person likable. And I do think if there's an audience member that stares at this character long enough and those motivations are real and very genuine, that the audience will always sympathize with the villain that robs the bank, for their children. Suicide Squad. People already can't wait to watch a group of people mass murdering innocent civilians. So I think. I think you could make any character likable, but we decided to start him off from a very unlikable position.
And so you talked about one of the themes that you were saying was music that was kind of coming up, and music did kind of survive. I don't know necessarily about the hipster or that kind of thing survived into the creation of Hum. Did it, or was it?
I think in essence, we were trying to do is zero in on a certain culture. The idea of a young person who has a little bit of privilege and has a goal that they want and is very self-centered on that goal, and that's sort of part of what the character was about, and that survived.
I think like the artistic process is a very selfish process. You're on your own. You're not sharing with anyone. You're making something of no economic value. So that is something that survived in the film. But I think what didn't survive was the music. I think I guess the indie music scene in Toronto is already, I think, in films has already been played out a lot in soundtracks and things like that. So we tried to find a genre of music in this film that's a little different. So we chose the blues. You know, Whiplash and the Coen Brothers movie.
Oh, brother, where are
No.
We could go on forever, but
The
except
Llewyn
Inside
Davis.
Llewyn Davis.
Inside
yeah,
Llewyn
yeah.
Davis, yeah.
You know, there's folk music, there's jazz music, but there hasn't really been blues. So we just thought let's try old Southern blues as the genre in this film.
So we're talking about Hum, and this is, how would you guys explain it? So for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, explain or give a little description of what this short film is about.
Sure. Hum, the premise is the protagonist named Drayden, and he's given this wonderful opportunity of a lifetime to write a hit single for a record label. The thing is, he's got to write this thing in 24 hours. That's all he's given. The only thing that's getting in his way, though, is his grandfather, who has dementia, who's always constantly getting in the way of his creative process. So you could understand how, in one hand, you're presented with this great opportunity, but on the other hand, it sucks because somebody's getting in my way. During the making of this process, too, we spoke to so many young caregivers, and that has always been their biggest struggle, which is, we spoke to a young PhD student who is thinking about, progressing his career to move into Ottawa, but his father has dementia, and so he might have to stay back home, and this is something I think a lot of young caregivers struggle with.
And that was also the other big theme, is the plight of the caregiver. That as the population ages, there's a lot more younger people who are taking care of their parents and grandparents, and we thought that it was something that hasn't been really tapped yet, story-wise. Sure, there's been films like the Alice about
Still Alice.
Yeah.
So Still
Away
Alice.
From Her, I think.
Away
from Her.
Yeah.
That was Sarah Polly's. She directed that one, I think.
Yeah.
But what about from the perspective of the caregiver?
Mm-hmm.
That's a story that we thought hadn't been told.
So putting aside the we'll come back to the dementia and the caregiver perspective for a second, but I want to pick up on the theme of the creative person and the roadblocks that they have to encounter, because I found that part really real as a fellow creative person. Like, I don't necessarily have that person, like a grandpa or whatever, who's in the way, but there's always these little roadblocks, these times and these demands for my attention and things like that kind of distract from the creative process. And was that kind of part what you guys were also kind of funneling into, just having that kind of experience as creative people?
You mean personally?
Yeah.
Personally, what we were experiencing creatively, in
Yeah.
the process?
I think that just came out in the writing. The scenarios that were created, I think that just came out of us talking to each other, like, what's the worst thing that could happen to this character right now? Okay, let's choose this option. We ran up through a few musicians as opposed to suggest, is this realistic or not? But I think to us, it's really no different than writing or any other form of composing. You are either on your own, but you're not doing anything for anyone, and everybody else is kind of demanding your time because they probably don't see the amount of work that you're putting into it.
Yeah, and I think also another thing is you'd figure that with two people working on one idea, or something like a film where it's supposed to be like, a film is very much like a thought form. You know what I mean? Like it's a visualization of a thought in someone's head, and to have how can you have two people working on one thought form and share? Really, it's sharing the same mind. And I think the cool thing about working with Phil is a lot of times, even though we're very different as far as our approach to certain things, we're able to sort of do a mind meld.
Nice.
Right, and a lot of there was very little sort of I think creative conflicts because I can speaking for myself. I trust Phil's vision, and when the part of it is always for me is never saying no or trying not to say no. If he comes up with an idea, he wants to do something, go yes, let's do it. And I think that helped for me at least keep it smooth, but we shared a vision and there was very little conflict I found.
None. I don't. There was one, but it was over I think a hiring decision. But anyways, but besides that,
There was a little mystery drop there.
You guys got all kinds of
I know,
Agatha mystery
trying to-
going on, man.
but besides that, it's been pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I'm also telepathic, so I was able to foresee your your troubles in advance.
Yeah, and I was telepathic too, actually. But
Oh.
I see it from in my dreams. So I dreamt a lot of it actually
So you had to fall
beforehand.
asleep on the set.
Yeah. But I was actually seeing into the next thing.
Yo.
Troubleshooting. That's what it's all about.
Yo. Telepathic troubleshooting. In terms of being on the set and working on the film, what for you guys is, you guys have this phrase, the Guillermo moment?
The Guillermo moment.
Yeah, what is that? Or what is it you were trying to achieve? Or what is it you wanted to hold?
Guillermo.
Well, why don't Jerome describe it, because he pioneered the Guillermo moment.
The Guillermo moment is a moment in the process where you push and reach for the stars. The star being Guillermo del Toro. Phil and I,
Oh my
Phil and
God.
I, we have to be honest. Phil and I, the first film we made was The Lonely Monster, and it's about a young girl who witnesses a kid bullying somebody, steals his toy robot, and then she decides to make a film about bullying. But instead of having a bully, she makes a film about this big alien monster, and she has to, part of the story is her running around and trying to find a crew and financing for the film. So our original idea was, why don't we get Guillermo del Toro to be the producer? So when in the film, when she goes to the producer and asks for money, the camera turns around, it's Guillermo, and he opens up a case of money, and she gets to make the film.
Yo.
That never happened.
Oh.
But that was our Guillermo moment. And in Hum, there is a bit of a Guillermo moment where we sort of pushed beyond, we pushed it as far as we could. And what it was when we were auditioning for the role of Sid, there was we went through a number of auditions, but there was one audition by a gentleman, Neil Berghard, from the States, and he killed it. It was a video audition, and we were like, wow, he really captured the essence of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
The only problem is,
Well, he lived in Illinois.
and we couldn't afford to bring him.
Sid was the old man who suffered from dementia in the short.
That's right. So the Guillermo moment was, we said, okay, at first we were like, well, maybe we obviously can't afford him, so let's move on to somebody else. But when we thought about it, we go, no, this is the guy that is the best choice. Let's ask him. And we go, look, we really want you in the film. We can't afford to bring you. Will you still like to be part of it? And he said yes. And he drove here.
Yeah, his wife had reunited with an old college roommate or something from over 20 years ago, something insane like that.
Yo.
So it was like a twofold trip for them. One was reuniting with an old member, and the other was acting our film.
Yeah, and they put him up for the night, and he was very gracious, and it was wonderful working out for him. But that was the Guillermo moment, and it's kind of funny because we make fun of it. But in every creative endeavor, there should be a moment where you just reach for the stars, and you just forget about everything else, and you just put it out there in the universe. Ask, go,
I think so too. I think oftentimes we're so limited by, I am at least, by the fears of financial loss, or that you don't go out on a limb and say, here's a crazy idea. Everybody jumps at the idea, and ignore everybody saying this can't be done, and just try it. Just why not? We had that philosophy with producing as well, which is, oh, here's an actor that we like. Why not ask this person? If there's a set that we like, why not try to get that set? That way, I think we'll have a more realistic approach to filmmaking, as opposed to thinking, oh no, it's impossible, and limiting ourselves before we even try. And so I was glad we reached out to him.
There's no courage in saying no. That's the problem. But everyone does it quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you can't use this space. No, we can't have this.
Yeah,
aspect.
and to be honest, I love the sound of no. Like when friends say no, I can't meet you for dinner. I'm like, yes, I could be back in my boxers,
Yeah.
watching TV.
No pants, yo.
No pants. You too? Yeah, Sammy.
Yeah.
No pants club. But it's to me, it's nothing sounds better than a no. Than I get to realize, oh, dates canceled. Oh yes, okay, I'm gonna hang out at home. So yeah, I think that's why it's so easy to agree for people around us to agree with no, because I think that's always the easier option. Yes just means a lot more work, but yes just also means a better film. So if we could convert that work to pleasantries, if we could convert that work to a good time somehow, then I think we could always reach for the stars. Yeah.
And you did ask, because you went on Indiegogo. Well, this was the usual, slightly unusual path, I guess, you took to making Hum. So you make this little short film, the 1 minute, and then you decide you're going to keep working together, and you go to Indiegogo to raise the money, and you end up raising 38, just under 40 grand, basically 38 grand and change. Talk about the Indiegogo process, because this is a new outlet now, obviously, for filmmakers, and something that you guys didn't have even just a few years ago.
If I could just say, first off, there's the lovely, beautiful Ananda. That's
she's waiting in the bar over there. That's my girlfriend.
Can she join us?
Yeah.
Come on in.
She seems rather embarrassed by it. Is this good radio though to invite somebody like to? Is this I don't know?
Life.
Is it life? Hey, so she's.
Ananda's walking in. She's looking lovely. She's wearing a dress.
She's wearing a black and white dress.
Very nice.
Carrying a leather jacket.
So you make the Lonely Monster a nice little 1 minute short, and you decide you can continue working with each other. You still enjoy wearing long johns, and you now are going to go, and you've had this discussion. You know what kind of film you want to make, and you decide now to go to Indiegogo to raise the funds, and you successfully raise just under 40 grand, 38 and change. So explain that kind of process and what that experience was like for you guys to go as part of Indiegogo, because this adds another layer now. It's not just like going off and just making a film. It adds a whole little layer.
Can I ask Jerome something?
I was gonna preempt it, but go ahead. I think we're on the same track.
No. This question will hopefully throw you off.
No, never. Go ahead.
well, it better throw you off. Which is
okay.
I don't know.
I don't know why.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm like the shit disturber in the studio.
Yeah.
But which is before the Indiegogo campaign, did you think this film was going to happen? Because we budgeted $35,000. That's almost just enough before festivals, before printing, before any marketing, before promotion. This is almost enough to shoot and maybe enough for post-production. Did you think before this campaign this film was actually going to be real? Or were you thinking if this campaign was not successful, you're going to have to bail?
I'm going to have to bail?
Yeah.
No, okay, so this is very interesting.
Okay.
I am a Luddite, okay? I don't like technology. And not that it doesn't have its usages, but, social media and these kind of things are very, very new to me. And I remember Phil saying, "We got to crowdfund. We got to crowdfund." In my mind, I was like, I didn't understand how crowdfunding worked. I didn't understand how social media worked, and it was something that I just was not into.
Did you feel like it was like panhandling almost, kind of, or like busking?
No, it wasn't a moral thing. It wasn't. It was just like I didn't see the value in it. And Phil was like, "Yeah, we can do this. We can do this." And I was confident that because of you were confident about it.
I'm glad then you're confident about it.
Yeah,
that's what I was getting at with that previous question was, I hope I riled you enough to be confident about it.
Well, it was, Phil was confident that we could crowdfund it. In my head, because I'm a realist. I'm not really an optimist. I thought if it's not crowdfunded, then we'll just have to foot the bill.
Right.
To come up with 35 grand.
Were you prepared to foot the bill? Because you know what? I was so confident I was not prepared to foot the bill.
I'll tell you what I was confident about.
We're getting the dirt now.
I'll tell you what I was confident about. I was confident the film that we budgeted for $35,000. It ended up being $38,000 without some post stuff like promotion stuff like this. I thought the film could be made for $35,000. I also thought that the film could be made for much less, like $15,000 if push came to shove. We paid the crew. We fed the crew. We did everything above the board. We paid our acters. There was no
permits.
We got
paid
permits.
For locations.
Yeah,
everything was
great
all
locations. Everything was above the line. But if push came to shove, we could have done it for much less. And that's what that was one of a fail-safe that was in my head. I was like, if needs be, there is a variance. There's a sliding scale there. Now, I think it's important to pay the crew. And as Phil mentioned before when we discussed this previously, you got to pay to play, and it's very much about our reputation as filmmakers and people taking us seriously. And I really wanted to pay that. And that was enough for me to go. Let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
It's a big number.
It's a big number.
But I think when you hit a certain mark, like if you hit 10 grand, past 10 grand, to me it's just a blur. It's just a big number,
Yeah, and this is the interesting thing about Indiegogo and Kickstarter, because we were really trying to figure out which crowdfunder to go with.
And I think Indiegogo had the best rates because it was I think they take a cut of 4%. If you make your full campaign, and take 9% if you don't. But regardless, you could still recuperate that money as opposed to Kickstarter. Also, Indiegogo was very smart. Shout out to Aya Norris, who works at Indiegogo and handheld us through that process. If you put in a large enough amount, somebody from Indiegogo will call you and say, "Let's help. Let's work together," because they want to take that percentage off too, and they're going to try as hard as possible to get you to succeed. So she contacted us very quickly, and she gave us a package as to what to follow and what guidelines. And also shout out to Sammy Younan for helping us out as well with the promotion and everything like that. Total amazeballs. Thank you.
No worries.
And I think and she had this package for us that was all outlined step by step how to raise money. And it was, if we follow that to the T, if we just stop being creative for once and put on our business hats and buckle down and do the math with this workbook that they gave us, it works.
Yeah, it's amazing, actually. Yeah.
You have one who's not too sure what's going on and what's going to happen or whatever, and then one who's confident and can't foot the bill if this doesn't work.
This is where the mind meld occurs.
And so you flip the switch and you go into Indiegogo and you flip the switch and you go. And the donations start coming in. Were you surprised? Were you encouraged? What was kind of going through their head at that point?
I'll tell you about mine because I'm really curious to hear about what Jerome's is like. But so part of that package was you preempt your friends and family and closest people to help you on the first 2 or 3 days of the campaign. That's what it says. If you don't make roughly 30% of your campaign money by that in your first 3 days, you're dead in the water, because people love a winning horse. And if somebody sees a film about to be made, they're going to keep putting money into it. So to us, it was so important. We got the word out, and then it was just, I think we made $22,000 in 2 days.
Yeah,
and the
amount that was rolling in, friends that they used to be so cheap towards me that would never foot the bill at a restaurant have poured in the thousands or the hundreds, and the emotion that I was trying to wrestle with was just this burden of responsibility that you have to owe these investors a really good film. Even though we do have a really good film, it's just this added pressure, and then also this amount of love that you felt. So I cried for 2 straight days until my mom was like, "Just work on the film, stop crying." And then I got back.
Your mom sounds like a good producer.
That's her real voice too. She's in the studio right now.
Okay. And what about you, Jerome? Then, as a Luddite, coming then, not knowing or not familiar or comfortable, whatever term you want to use.
Yeah. Now that it's real, that it actually is working. What were your emotions?
I was like, damn, this is working. This is great. It's for me. It's once again, it's sort of like a very realist approach. It's like, okay, so the money's coming in. This is great. There's steps in the workbook that says we have to keep on, promoting it to our host committee. Yeah, keep on keeping on. And I was very happy. But for me, I think my concern at the moment was sort of like, okay, there's a lot of time. Like, it took a good month, actually, of promoting and getting all the logistics down. But at that point, we were like less than a month or just a couple weeks away from our shoot date. And I was like, oh man, we got the script needs to go through some more drafts. So, what's interesting is the stuff that Phil worries about, I don't worry about. And the stuff that I worry about, Phil doesn't worry about. And I think that sort of helps in our
you get a black guy and an Asian guy together, and it's a great combination, because collision of two different cultures means that they excel in various areas that could cover each other. I really do think that. I think it's a wonderful blend of worries that we both have that made this film work. I tell everybody this, which is like, Jerome's the guy that would wait for information to come in to make a decision, as opposed to the first piece of information that comes in, I'll immediately make a decision. I think it's just a good middle ground to have in terms of the creative process and also in business as well.
And Jerome, I just want to go back to from your perspective, because I know obviously you and I have been friends for a number of years, but when you graduated film school in New York, Kickstarter and these kind of opportunities did not exist. So you came out of the I guess, the last gasp of the old system, which is that you either had to network or find a studio or find, you know what I mean? The old methods of finding money to make money, like to finance a film.
Bro, we actually cut our film with razor blades and taped it together in school. And then I went out into the world just as everything changed digital. It was not a happy time, but it was a very good experience. And I think that's part of the reason why I was excited about working on this project, because I thought, for a number of years I've been thinking about getting back into filmmaking. And I work really well with Phil, and I like him. And I thought this is a good opportunity for me to bring myself up to date on the technology and the techniques of the digital age. And so, that was exciting for me. From crowdfunding to shooting on 6K on a Red Epic.
Were there any shortfalls with digital that you've experienced? Because I've never shot film.
Shortfalls with digital?
Versus film?
The shortfall, and this is sort of a common thing, is in the discipline. So we're in the filmmaking world. If you're shooting on film, like you were saying, the pressure is, this is money. If I screw up this take, it's money, and I'm burning through film. Whereas with digital, you don't have that.
People are just like, there's another take, right?
Yeah, but even then in the editing process, it's like, okay, you got to cut the actual film and tape it. And if you make a bad edit, you got to retape that bad edit, and then we'll go over and recut that. And so what ends up happening is with the digital world, and I think this is it with anything digital, there is no final cut. You can just keep on shifting things around to infinity. You know what I mean? And I think there has to be a point where there's discipline. You have to, develop a discipline to go, make the hard cut.
Mm-hmm.
Make the hard cut.
Is that kind of is it nice then to have that opportunity as well, though? Obviously, you want to make the hard cut because you have to get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's kind of nice to know that you can always go back and keep cleaning it up and editing or adjusting.
I mean, that's why digital will always win, because you could keep doing that. Like, that you could refine so many things. You could I don't see. Anyways,
but does it make it better? And I know that's a relative thing, but Phil and I, because I guess when we do our mind sharing, an interesting consequence of this is sort of like very stringent deadlines. So, for instance, we shot the film in May.
Yeah, early May.
And it's June. No, sorry, so in June we edited it.
Right. And
then July and August we sound mix color, and it's done. 3 months. Whereas there are people that we know who shot their films, short films.
Oh, and then like a year goes by until they release something. Until they think it's ready to release
the
something.
fiddling process.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the way that we've been working, we've been constantly pushing ourselves to, do the best in as little time as possible. So it's efficiency and quality. This
comes with having worked in TV, which is we're just used to churning out product. That I think there is a sweet spot in timing, that there is no benefit of holding on to something for too long and releasing something too early. There is this kind of sweet spot, and to us, I mean, for goodness sakes, this is not a feature film,
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Woody Allen put together a movie a year,
Sometimes two.
And
we want to get on with that,
Exactly, you want to put in those 10,000 hours, and so for us, it's just like, okay, let's do this well, let's do this as fast as we can, but without sacrificing quality, and then put it out there, and then work on the next one.
I like that mentality, because I come also, I've done writing for National Post and stuff, and so when the deadline comes, you just throw it out there, and regardless of whether it's good or bad or indifferent, it's gone, and you have to let it go. You know what I mean? You can't keep eating it up, and so then it's on to the next one, like you just said, right? Like you can do your.
We're both also procrastinators too, because and so had there not been these deadlines, it would have been. I think only our grandchildren would see the final product.
Phil, also this kind of story is a little bit personal, because is it your grandfather, or what was the family?
My grandfather on my dad's side and my grandmother on my mom's side
both suffered from dementia.
Yeah.
Did you find that their experiences and the way you related to them, did that kind of impact or shape your creative process as well, or?
Yeah, I think it's a generation that's overlooked. I think it's it's not a disease, it's a symptom. And I think the caretakers like to use the word struggle as opposed to suffer, because it's still a challenge and they're still human. The fact that it's so common in my family and it's so common around the world and it just hasn't been spoken about, to me was quite surprising, and it's not a really sexy thing to talk about. We thought this is something we could share with the rest of the public too. This kind of knowledge that we have of the symptom of dementia. So it's funny because my grandfather is like this happy, forgetful Alzheimer's patient, and my grandmother is the reverse, where she got really upset by it. And to see these two different kind of reactions to it was like, oh, it's really cool and interesting, and maybe we could write that into the film.
And you actually got the film sponsored by the Alzheimer's Society of Toronto, or just the Alzheimer's Society?
It was a partnership. They partnered. It was a
It was more of a partnership as opposed to a sponsorship.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did a lot. They helped us so much. We went in there because with something like this, we want to make sure we're portraying it fairly and accurately and doing it justice, which is why we went to the Alzheimer's Society of Toronto. And they gave us two fantastic counselors, Suda Vavila
Mm-hmm.
and Peter Marksick. They were our script supervisors to make sure that everything was on point and that it checked out and that the characteristics that our Alzheimer's character was experiencing was accurate.
Yeah, we didn't want like caricatures or for us to make fun of the Alzheimer's. That we wanted to take that when they see it on screen, this is more or less an accurate representation.
I haven't had the same experiences as you, Phil, but you feel for Sid, the old dude in the movie. You know what I mean? Just kind of struggling, and just his struggle is just as real too as Oliver, the main that's the actor's name, I guess. But just trying to fit in and just trying to he just wants to chill. You know what I mean? And just like nobody will let him chill because you can't leave him on his own, and at the same time, he doesn't fit in anywhere.
Yeah, it's just sad to have somebody's memory disappear, and they led such a wonderful past life. And in us, I feel like our society loves to celebrate the youth and not enough the elder generation. And so we thought, why not have a slightly cooler, more empathetic older figure as well? Yeah.
So the short now is called Hum, and it's done. Is it done?
It's done.
It's done.
That's a wrap.
Well, we have a launch party coming up, August 30th, and that's when we're launching the film.
It's a private premiere, and that would be a wrap after that.
Okay. And then after the launch party, then you mentioned that you wanted to use it as a crowbar to kind of get into the industry a little bit or put people on notice. The bat light, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're here. Guess you're going to submit it to film festivals, or what's the general plan?
Yeah, I guess up next is in order for the real world to validate the film, you have to submit it to festivals to get these little nice laurels around your film.
Oh yeah, those are nice. Yeah.
Those are nice, right?
Yeah.
We can make fake ones and put it on the poster too.
Yeah, why don't you just make a whole bunch of film festivals?
I always feel like somebody does do that in their spare time.
Yeah.
Like we could make one up like the Scarborough.
No, there's a Scarborough Film Festival.
Scarborough Film Festival.
Oh, there's a Scarborough Film Festival. Yeah, we got to submit to that, man. But that after we do a round of submission, and then we look for distributors.
Okay.
And then I guess after that we talk to Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the next one.
Okay.
Just to confirm.
And that you think is going to be another short with Spielberg, or are you going to do a feature probably with Spielberg?
Well, I think we need to test him out first,
Mm-hmm.
just to see if he's good or not. But like if we want to work with him or not. So
He might be old man lazy now too, right? Just like,
Yeah.
yo, man, you just do it, and I'll just put my name on it.
we'll probably give him like it's like a PA credit or something just to see.
Yo, put him in craft services.
just test old Spielberg out.
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
Just before we wrap up, I want to talk about the very, 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 very thing at the end. Blue Sky Cinema. You had a nice little astronaut just kind of just lounging on the logo. Where did that come from? That's awesome.
I don't know, Jerome. Where did that come from?
This is part 2 of the Guillermo moment.
All right.
This is another something that occurred in the first film that Phil and I made, The Lonely Monster. At the end of that, we decided to write a script called Burnout, which is about a character who wins a lottery to go to Mars.
Oh!
Yeah. So this is set in the what is it? It's speculative fiction.
fiction.
So
Mhm.
it's set only like a few years from
In
now.
a possible future. The world is going through this sort of a depopulation program because we're running out of food. So this company called Blue Sky has this lottery that sends people to Mars, and it's all about sort of making people believe that the most important thing that you can contribute to mankind is to further it and to create that legacy. And it's all about this character who's willing to sacrifice his family, his friends, his
he
wife.
he works at a poor job at a company called Credit Card for Kids. He's not really happy with his marriage, and so he's given this once in a lifetime opportunity to go to Mars. And I guess the question that we both like to ask during writing of this film was, what would you do to be a martyr for humanity? Like how would you want to be remembered? And going to Mars is kind of the fastest way to do it. You'll be in the history books if you go to Mars. You will be one of the first people. So we had this character that decides to abandon his
pregnant wife.
He's out.
His pregnant wife and go to Mars, and that was it. So the company that was sponsoring this lottery to Mars is called Blue Sky. And we thought, hey, that's a pretty good name for a production company, Blue Sky Cinema.
And you put the little astronaut beside it, lounging on the word.
Yeah, that's right.
Phil actually created that hand. That's like hand drawn, some of it.
I sewed it. Actually,
you sewed it. Okay.
Yeah. Would you go to Mars? That's where we're going now.
Hell no.
You wouldn't go?
Wait, again, is this because we don't know whether the development of a returnable rocket ship is available yet?
Oh, and right now it's a one-way ticket.
Okay.
You're gonna be buried on the planet.
No, I don't. I'll probably die.
Okay. What about this?
Phil is looking at his girlfriend Ananda, saying, "Can
I
you go with me?
Do you mind coming to? It's the rocks are nice. It's a great view of Earth.
What about this then? If you could upload your consciousness to a computer and that gets sent to Mars.
Am I connected to that consciousness, or am I...
You are that computer now. You don't exist anymore.
Well, wait a second.
Do I have a choice to connect myself to... Okay, sorry.
This is an interesting Twilight Zone question here.
I may not give you a choice.
If you upload my consciousness to Mars...
To a computer, yeah.
To a computer, my body just flops, my consciousness to be transferred, or does it create a separate consciousness?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
No, I would take all of you and just dump it into this. Maybe without your permission, too.
Well, it seems like we have no choice, Sammy. I guess we have to go to Mars.
But that would be a lot more easier, though, because you wouldn't need then food. You wouldn't have to worry about oxygen. You wouldn't,
Well, then the enemy was boredom. I mean, if I'm just left staring into things as a program.
Yeah, I can't even walk around.
I can't walk around. What am I supposed to do with myself, Besides chat with other programs, I guess. Which I guess could be fun.
Isn't that what we're doing now?
That's true.
Yeah.
But there could be other programs on Mars. You don't know what the aliens have.
Well,
do we want to go down this road?
Yeah. It's like this is a rabbit hole of a conversation.
I think the whole thing is, I think we all want to know what it's like to be on another planet. I think that'll be a cool experience. However, I do not want to die on another planet, especially when the average temperature is like minus 50 or something, or minus 100. It ranges from like plus 30 to like minus 200, or I don't know. It just doesn't sound very comfortable.
But the gravity, though, means we would have a little bit of superpowers. We'd be stronger and stuff like that. The difference in the gravity.
Is this true?
Yeah.
I can't. Okay.
Because SpaceX, Elon Musk, so they've been researching it and stuff like this. And so there's a different, I forgot what the percentage of gravity is or whatever, but we would be able to pick up heavier stuff. So we'd be a little bit Superman-like.
We'd be Superman-like.
Well, first of all, we're Superman-like amongst humans on Earth, but that's pretty much it. Everybody else around you, I guess, in Mars would also be Superman-like, right? Which makes our level of happiness flatlined. That we would much rather be stronger than our friends relative to us than to be equally as strong as everyone else. Then there's no benefit to me being on Mars then if I'm super strong, but everybody else in Mars is super strong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's a good answer.
That's a good answer. So, no to Mars then is the final verdict. This is the other scoop we're getting today.
Okay, if it was like the last year of my life, then then sorry, babe. But
Phil is looking over it.
maybe like I would. It would be nice to burn out in Mars, like the last year of my. You know, it's like you got one. No, less than that. Like,
It takes 6 to 8 months to get to Mars, so you better be not sickly. You better be able to survive.
yeah, I'd have to be able to survive. I'd have to know when I die to go to Mars and then burn out there.
Okay.
Well,
you guys-
it would be nice to see before I go. You know.
It'll be amazing.
Would you guys ever return to this other project, or would you, after like, just want to start a new project fresh, maybe?
Well, I guess we'll be shopping it around, or
The funny thing is, even though we wrote it a little while ago, how long ago was that?
a year ago.
Year ago. Whenever we tell the story to somebody, their eyes like lighten up. They're like, "Oh wow, that sounds really cool!" Like, so it has like lasting power.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it's fresh.
Yeah.
And that's a feature.
Could be. Well, our script is about 40 minutes. Could be expanded.
Yeah, it could be a television series right now, but
Mhm.
I mean, that's our goal, is just try to shoot it,
Mhm.
and then think about where it fits in later. You know, we want the story to serve everything, above all else, the story to serve its purpose. So if the story calls for an hour, then it's an hour. If the story calls for an hour and a half, then it's a movie. But so far, it's an hour or 40 minutes. Yeah,
Mhm.
around there.
Okay. So we'll have to look for that. So just to recap then, Hum is now done. The short is done. You have the screening coming, private screening party coming up on the 30th. And I guess you'll be submitting it at various festivals, and we can follow all the social media. What's the social media so that people can then find out?
Yo, check us out at, you know, I just feel like it's such a plug there, humthemovie.com. The Twitter handle is at humthemovie. And we have an Instagram account also at humthemovie.
Okay. And this has been,
A pleasure,
and your name,
Jerome.
and this has been,
A joy, a sheer joy.
that was almost sincere. And your name?
Phil.
Thank you, guys. So we covered going to Mars. We covered dementia. We covered filmmaking. We covered crowdfunding. I think we did everything, didn't we?
I think so. Is there anything missing?
It's like having a full meal, this conversation. No, I had a great time.
And thank you for the Coca-Colas in the glass bottle.
Oh, yes. That's what we do here at Girth Radio. Yo. But I'm sorry, Phil, you have to wear pants because we have a window in the... I know. Even though it's
Sorry,
radio, it's like, you know what I mean?
And I was wearing my tearaways, you know?
So I know. It was just all a tease. But maybe next time we'll maybe we'll do it like when there's nobody in the bar, and then we can just do like no pants radio.
No Pants Radio.
No pants radio. So we
And-
got to end it there.
It's also NPR for short.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Shucks.
How's it going so far?
You tell me.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
I'm having a good time.
It's great.
I'm having a good time. Yeah.
You have a really nice studio here.
I know, eh? I'm
Thank
very
you. Yeah,
jealous.
the shag carpeting and the nice little panels on the wall.
And the played the record turntable softies
Oh,
there. Where'd you get that
yeah.
from?
Yo, that's how we roll.
Okay.
Is that a Scarborough hookup here? Is that a...
No, that's a downtown institution.
Yeah, it's one of
Is
the
it
few.
still there?
It's still there, guy. It's because we've had that vinyl resurgence. It's
Mm.
kind of taken a little bit more prominence, I guess. So I don't think it's not struggling, but it's not doing well either. If that makes sense, it's kind of that middle ground where people that know, like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
they go.
It's
Those that know go.
No go. It's a record shop. Is this still on Yonge Street? Yeah.
Whereabouts
Been
on
there.
your...
Well.
Not too far from the Zanzibar.
Good landmark.
Yes.
Now I know where that is.
Exactly.